Yeah, I know, like, some people are looking for, a lot of people are looking for investment advice on YouTube, and there's a lot of people that go out there and give their advice, right? It's always been my contention, if you know what you're doing, why give advice? You're just bet the market and you're going to make so much damn money. It's ridiculous. I mean, if you made 5% a week, you figure it out, man. Just do the multiplication. It comes out to ungodly numbers at the end of the year. I mean, why would you tell anybody anything? But I'm going to tell you something that's real common sense, kind of boring in a way, right? I'm more high risk, and actually silver is high risk. That's what it is, man. But I'm in it. I get pissed off if this shit goes down really bad because I don't want to think that, but I don't think it is because there's a few other things going for it, like the Cyprus deal. And tell you the truth, if anybody's got some brains, and they got money in the bank, and they don't have any silver at all, they'd be stupid not to buy some. But it takes a long time for people to wake up, and that's going to bring some buying pressure on the Cyprus deal. But I know a lot of times, I don't know, you got the, like, I guess Brother John F. He don't like you buying stocks. That's the way he advises, right? He says physical silver. That's pretty high risk shit too, big time. But I think right now you're cool with it. I think the big fault with him is that he'll probably tell you to keep it like forever, and it's going to crash at some time. I think it's going to have a couple peaks before it has the final blow off top. I think approximately 2017. That's just classic freaking theory out there. That's about when the commodity bubble is going to run out, and it coincides with a couple other things, right? Like a couple cycles, the way it's going every few years. It seems to have a nice wave up and wave down. Anyway, that also implies that 2014 might be a good year, but 2017 might be the blow off top. But, I think he might advise you to hold it too damn long. That's the thing I'd see with him. Now, I don't listen to people on YouTube pretty much. I listen to the guys that made the money. That's who I listen to. And actually, I read the major media, but I don't buy their bullshit. You know what I mean? I really don't. I'm going to tell you one thing that's really, it's almost boring. But if you're going to invest in the energy sector or the precious metal sector, just go with an index fund too. Vanguard is the king of all the index funds. It's like I used to have them a while back, but I'm more greedy, so which is more risky. It was bad to be greedy, but I want to make more money faster. But when say somebody like, I'll mention, it could be Don Harold or Greg Manarino. I don't know, whatever they do. They tell you to do this and do that with the market. Like I said, if you know what you're doing, you don't really want to tell anybody. But the simple thing to do for the average person that doesn't know all this stuff, can't research all this stuff, can't find out inside information, isn't sitting up there in Washington, D.C. and is going to know what the hell is going to happen with a law or something. Just go in an index fund. Typically, the index funds outperform everybody else's stuff. I mean, yeah, you got your precious metals, you got your physical precious metals and all that type of stuff. But, say, for instance, you want to buy mining stocks and you're not sure. And you got all these people selling this shit. This miner is going to be this and this. It might be right. Might be wrong. Why would they tell you anyway, right? Vanguard, I don't work for Vanguard or nothing. I don't even have Vanguard shit anymore. I had it before. Did all right. But they're like the safest, oldest one around with index funds. And typically, all the old timers will tell you index funds are pretty damn smart. It's like you just sit on this shit. And right now, I don't know, the Vanguard Energy Fund, it's easy. It's like, if you want to get a Vanguard index fund, it's like VG. They all start with VG, Vanguard, right? They all start with those two initials. You want energy, it's EN for energy, then X. So VGENX. and it's got a bunch of stocks in there. Like if you look at what's in it, it's got Exxon. Like these guys ain't gonna go broke, you know what I mean? And they pay dividends. I was pointing this out. Like a friend of mine, he has individual stocks. Actually, he has a bunch of these individual stocks that are in this index fund. But actually, the index fund, they charge you a little bit, but it's small. It's small. It's Exxon, Chevron, Royal Dutch Shell, BP, Occidental Petroleum, yeah, the evil guys, and other ones. There's a whole bunch of other ones in there. I mean, are these guys going to go broke? Now, if there's a war in the Middle East, I'd imagine this index fund is going to do better. Now, if you get lucky and you pick the right stock, you're going to get even more money. But the average investor is better off just leaving it up to an index fund. Now, the energy sector, like if you look at Vanguard, it's cool the way they put it because it's like high risk, high reward. It can get slammed or it can go up. It's more volatile. These type of things like energy, and the other one is precious metals. It's a lot of it's stocks. They got some of the underlying asset. At least that's what they used to have. It's VG, Vanguard, PM, like in precious metals, X. So VGPMX. Now, I don't sell for them or nothing, but I'm going to tell you, man, Vanguard, that's another, but, these two areas are considered high risk, But, I don't know. Actually, the fund looks pretty damn depressing when you're looking at even this precious metals fund with the stocks because it's going like this. Looks like it's in a slow glide to it isn't done crashing yet. I don't really know, though, but to tell you the truth, I'm a little too bullish on the metals, too. I got a little like that Brother John F. overly bullish bullshit in me, too, but he's worse than me, though, by far. But I think it's going to turn around. I would have said that 6 months ago. I probably would have said that 9 months ago. I know. Because I think it's going to turn around, but I do think it's going to turn around. There's stuff with the QE where it's just up in the banks and the bankster money and it's not getting into the hands of the people, so it's not causing inflation. I think something's going to bust here. And actually the stuff with Cyprus got me thinking big time because a lot of average people in Europe are going to start saying, well, we got some money in the bank, let's get it out and buy some gold and silver. That's what I think they're going to do. So it doesn't take much to actually start the avalanche, So, but, this Vanguard fund, like if you say you want to have a paper fund, it's not paper though. It's a share in companies that are producing the metal you buy when you go to the bullion dealer, right? It's not paper. It's, it says a piece of paper. But just like, if you sold your metals someday, you're going to get a piece of paper and you go to the bank, you're going to get some kind of currency, and you're going to trade that for a hard asset. It's a medium, you'll get a different medium of exchange, So, paper represents real stuff. I guess the problem with our whole BS system is that the paper is just representing other paper instead of real assets, I know that. But, so if you got precious metals and you got hard assets and you got the real precious metals, you want to make another investment and you're wondering about stocks to pick, you might be better off just going with Vanguard. It's fund, index fund. They're the oldest, biggest game in town. In the energy sector and the precious metals sector are it ain't for the retired people that are looking for steady income. That's traditionally not what it's for, It's really, it's got potash in it too, which is interesting because even though it's a precious metal sector, it's not all precious metals. It's got potash in it, which is the fertilizer company up there in Canada. And, actually that's one that's done good. It helped it out a little bit. And the fund overall is getting clobbered pretty bad the last couple of years. But, it had a good run up to about 2011 or whatever it was. So, that's why it gets clobbered. But, it's probably depressed right now. And I would not, this is the one problem I have with the precious metals people, like, Lindsey Williams, Max Kaiser is a load of it, in my opinion, big time. he's pushing Bitcoins right now, big time. And, you know, Bitcoins, depending on when you bought it, it would be stellar. But, you know, right now, the fact that Max Kaiser is pushing Bitcoins, man, I would run from that shit. Maybe it'll go up a little higher, but it's kind of telling me the bubble's getting set up right now to burst. It may take a little bit longer, but watch that stuff. But, you know, it's always a matter of how high or how low it is relative to what it really should be. And if you can determine that, you're going to be filthy rich. That's probably what Mark Rothfaber does very well. You know, he buys depressed stuff. It don't matter if it doesn't seem like it's the best company in the world. If it's got too damn low for whatever it should be, he'll buy it, right? And, you know, that's probably what the deal is with this Vanguard Precious Metals and Mining Index, right? It's probably depressed right now. You know, the way the curve looks, it looks like it can go even lower. But, you know, the way precious metals are, when they start taking off, you're not going to, it's going to take you by surprise. And I get a feeling there's going to be more middle class buying pressure coming on due to this bank run in Europe. That's going to happen in Cyprus. I didn't say it didn't happen yet, but it will happen. And I think there's going to be more bank runs due to this. So, and I think when they take the money out of the bank, they might just buy precious metals with some of that. I mean, it just makes sense, right? So, I mean, I don't know that for a fact, but, you know, if you want to take, you know, if you want to dabble into, not dabble, like if you want to invest in some of the stocks out there in the energy sector and the precious metal sector, and you're not sure which ones, go with Vanguard, because, you know, they don't leave the mix there forever. It's managed. In other words, they'll look at how it's performing and they'll change. They'll sell some of this and they'll do some of that. And usually a lot of times these stocks will move up and down because of these big index funds moving in and out of them. Actually, that's really what moves the market sometimes. That's why an individual, like if you knew ahead of time Vanguard was going to buy a whole bunch of these stocks for, you know, its index, and you knew that information, which kind of hints at something else, you know that that stock would jump up quite a bit, right? But for the average person, the index fund is one of the safest things, and I'm saying that in general. The two areas I'm telling you about of index funds, like the energy sector and Vanguard, and the precious metal sectors, are the most volatile and, you know, risk reward. You know, they're not for everybody. And buying like just hard precious metals and buying individual stocks is, you know, that's why it don't work for most people. And so I guess my point is, you know, nobody's telling you to buy an index fund, right? I'm telling you, if you're interested in buying stocks, that might be one of the better things to do for the average person. Nobody on YouTube is going to manage that index fund better than the people at Vanguard. That's a fact. That's a fact. And all the old timers that made some serious money, a lot of them they really believe in those index funds. Just remember what I'm telling you. With the type of index funds we're talking about here are the most high risk, high reward funds. Energy sector and precious metals. But it's not as bad as trying to pick an individual stock. It's not as bad as that. So, you know, it's the safest way to go high risk. I guess you can call it that way. Go with the energy index fund and a precious metal index fund by Vanguard. That's the safest way to go high risk. I guess you could say that. So, as far as paper goes, all right. So, I think that's a little bit unique advice that nobody's telling people. And I don't like these freaking yo-yos telling people, go buy this stock, go buy that stock, and God. Index fund, dude.